I want you to get to know me a little better. So I want to share some of my story. I mean, after all, it's her private parts, huh? Have you heard about the Christmas rebellion? Yeah, it's not about what you're thinking, where you're like boycotting certain brands and stuff for Christmas. By the way, I missed that notification last year, fall, because I certainly was buying a stove on the day that it was supposed to be a blackout. Nobody told me. So next time, maybe whisper to your girl. Sorry, everybody. The Christmas Rebellion. It was in 1831 in Jamaica, West Indies. They were sharing this rumor. It was understood by the enslaved people in Jamaica from the churches that they were gathering in, mainly Baptist churches, that British Parliament had abolished slavery, and it was understood that the local plantation holders on the colony of Jamaica, they had decided that they were not going to free the slaves nor pay them wages for services performed. So the enslaved people were angered by this and tired of broken promises, wanting for their freedom, and they decided that they would rebel. After Christmas, they were not going to work anymore unless they had gotten paid. Now, the rebellions were led by a deacon, also an enslaved person named Samuel Sharpe. The rebellion was supposed to be peaceful. So I don't know if you've ever been to Jamaica, but those who know, though it is an island, it is not tiny at all. I'm not saying it's the size of, a state, but I was perplexed how a rebellion of this magnitude that included at least 60,000 enslaved people, how did this rumor, the word get out that they were going to rebel? It started in St. James and spread through other parishes such as Manchester, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and that is where my family is from. I still have a lot of family that live in St. Elizabeth. It's someplace I have gone a numerous of times. When they rebelled on Christmas Day, December 25th, 1831, the rebellion lasted 10 days.
Just wanted to inject here. Let's not forget, it really was a rumor. AKA, untrue. As in, Parliament didn't end slavery. Man, who started this rumor? Okay, let she tell you the story. It's not my podcast.
The slave owners responded back quite violently. I mean, they probably owned guns. They did. And whips and all kind of other things to instill terror. The enslaved people of Jamaica decided they were going to burn down plantations and homes. 25% of the island's plantations were completely destroyed. Entire villages were gone. Britain Parliament decided to send their militia. The Britain militia decided to respond with force, killing 500 enslaved people. Mind you, only a handful of white people died because of the rebellion, but 500 slaves died because of the uprising. They weren't given a trial. Some were hanged and bodies left for others to see them. Bodies were burnt. People were executed, including Samuel Sharpe. This was really to make sure the slaves knew their place, as per usual. So when you say the word rebellion, it sounds like the enslaved people won. False. But the Britain Parliament was so shocked by the escalating damages that they decided to abolish slavery. The Slavery Abolition Act was put into place in 1833. So I did Ancestry.com last year because I wanted to know the names of my ancestors. I was able to trace back my ancestors to a white man by the name of Daniel Rochester, I think, who was born in 1525. Most of my ancestors stayed in England for over 100 years until an esquire decided to move to Jamaica to start the business of slave trade. His sons were slave owners, and you know the story. So when I look at this, that side of my family, I can go down the list and tell which ones were of English descent versus African descent. Obviously, I can't trace back my African heritage beyond, I think, 1825. So everyone that I'm seeing are of British and Scottish descent. The Black ancestors that I was able to trace, they were there during the time of the Christmas Rebellion. And most likely they were also participants. And if they weren't participants, they definitely were affected by the outcome, whether some were killed or they were in hiding in fear of their lives. But they survived, and I know that they did. Some of them did, because I am here. So for this Black History Month, I ponder a question. Is racism still real? I don't know. Did the White House just put President Obama and his lovely wife's face on the body of apes and then act as if that had no racial grounding? I don't know. Is racism still real? Were people mad about Bad Bunny doing the halftime show? I don't know. Is racism still real? But what is real is hate, discrimination, ignorance, inequities, disparities. I'm proud to be a descendant of my ancestors who decided that they were going to fight for freedom and stand their ground. I mean, I hope they didn't light the plantation, but if they did, I don't blame them. Maybe it's the reason why every time I see something unfair that there's a little like quickening in my heart, in my spirit, like absolutely not tolerating that. No way. It's my responsibility to continue the fight for freedom, for equality, for fairness, so that whatever it is you want to call it doesn't win. Anyhow, I say all that to say happy Black History Month. Keep rising, keep pushing, keep pressing towards higher. Greater is possible. And that's to anyone who feels limited by anyone's ill willed perception. Let me go watch the halftime show. Gotta go.